Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Grab yourself a cup of tea and let's talk some boxing. Now, Dillian White's next fight could be in America at the end of August, and likely names being mentioned are Jermaine Franklin and Trevor Bryan. Now, of course, Trevor Bryan is WBA regular champion, so in essence that would be a world title chance for Dillian White. Of course, it is the regular status and Anthony Joshua holds the super, but it is still regarded as a world championship belt. That is the one that Alexander Povetkin won, and he is often referred to as a heavyweight champion or former heavyweight champion. So it is a legitimate belt. It's not the most prestigious, and probably Dillian White would still want to win a super championship or a WBC championship. Of course he is going to. Now, Jermaine Franklin is an undefeated American fighter, and obviously it seems to be in his plans to go to America, so it is quite likely that it will be Trevor Bryan or this guy, Jermaine Franklin, because he is looking for a big American opponent. I wouldn't say big name because I don't think that Franklin is a big name. I don't think that Trevor Bryan is a big name. Now, it's interesting, I guess, if he goes in there with Trevor Bryan because there is a world championship at stake. I know that he's got his interim status and will likely be called as mandatory to whoever is WBC champion next year, but again, there are no guarantees. The interesting thing about Dillian White's situation with the WBC is he was going to be mandatory this year, or so he was led to believe by Maurizio Sulaiman, and then he lost to Povetkin. Povetkin then became WBC interim champion, and for a brief spell was actually mandatory to Tyson Fury, according to Eddie Hearn, but that was never publicised. Then following that, obviously Dillian White beat Povetkin and then regained the status of interim champion, and it's a little bit foggy as to the situation Dillian White is in when it comes to mandatories, so Dillian White is guaranteed nothing by the WBC at the moment, and even if he is, can he realistically believe that he will get his opportunity? Because look what has happened to him in the past in sticking loyal to the WBC. It hasn't necessarily worked out for him. He still had some great fights and had some great nights as well, but he is still in search of that WBC World Championship opportunity, and he doesn't seem to be getting it, so perhaps Trevor Bryan could represent a move in a different direction to actually get a world title opportunity. Then if he has that, perhaps at some point he can move on and look to fight Anthony Joshua. One interesting thing as well is Dillian White could fight Trevor Bryan, but apparently Frank Warren is trying to make Daniel Dubois versus Trevor Bryan. So say Trevor Bryan decides to fight Dillian White instead, apparently Daniel Dubois is mandatory to Trevor Bryan, so it is his obligation to go and face him, but if he is able to fight Dillian White, which means he would earn more money by fighting White, definitely, than Daniel Dubois, and to be honest, I see Trevor Bryan losing to Dubois and Dillian White, so there is a decision for him to make. His biggest fight could be Dillian White. He could fight his mandatory Daniel Dubois, but he's not going to make a lot of money. So the best decision to make, the smart decision, would be Dillian White. I would imagine he'll lose that fight, but still, he gets that pay package for taking that kind of risk with Dillian White, as opposed to facing Daniel Dubois in a fight he will likely lose and for far less money than Dillian White. So there could be a good, smart decision to be made by Trevor Bryan. Now, in the event he fights Dillian White would then be champion and would probably have a mandatory in Daniel Dubois, because Daniel Dubois is WBA interim champion following his win over Bogdan Dinu. So that could be kind of interesting, a potential Dillian White versus Daniel Dubois fight, if Dillian White is able to secure that Trevor Bryan fight, and as I said, it would likely be in Trevor Bryan's best interest to explore that opportunity. That is the biggest fight he can make. He's not getting Anthony Joshua, he's not getting Tyson Fury, he's not getting Deontay Wilder. Ruiz is a possibility, but Dillian White, I would imagine, is a bigger fight than Ruiz. Unless they do it in America, of course. Then Ruiz might be slightly bigger because Ruiz has that following in Mexico and the US, whereas Dillian White's following is mainly based in the UK. He is known in America, but not as much as in the UK. Having said that, Eddie Hearn has this new deal with DAZN, and if they come in and drop a lump sum on the table for Trevor Bryan, then I'm hard pressed to say he's going to say no if that offer is put there. So I would like to see him fight Trevor Bryan rather than Jermaine Franklin. I don't think he gets all that much out of a Franklin fight, and as I said, Trevor Bryan does set up another opportunity for Dillian White. That could be a Daniel Dubois fight. Imagine that, a homecoming for Dillian White, going out to America, winning the WBA regular championship, then coming back to the UK and defending it in an all-British showdown with Daniel Dubois. Now, Daniel Dubois is not ready for that, but he is in the situation of being interim champion, and he will likely have an opportunity at Dillian White if he were to win. I mean, there is still the possibility that Dubois faces Trevor Bryan, and at the moment perhaps that seems more likely. But in the event that Dillian White gets that fight, then Daniel Dubois will likely have an opportunity at Dillian White. Now, of course, Daniel Dubois is not ready for Dillian White, but if he is given that opportunity, what is he going to do? Is he going to turn it down? They have put him in this position of being an interim champion and looking to become mandatory to a champion who is Trevor Bryan, of course, but I'm guessing they didn't suspect that this would happen, that Dillian White could be in the running to get that one. Then Daniel Dubois would be looking to face Dillian White for his WBA regular championship opportunity and not Trevor Bryan. So in turn, he's back in that situation of the Joe Joyce fight, not being ready, not having that in-between fight to get him to that next level. That could be integral for him. So if this is to happen, Daniel Dubois needs to get some experience in and get it fast, unless he wants to sidestep Dillian White and go down a different route, which could be a smart decision to make, not one you would expect him to make, but for the better of his career, you would imagine that he'd look to get some good experience fights in before he looks to step up to that level with Dillian White. Anyway guys, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below. Also leave a like and grab that subscribe button. Thanks guys.